What is up, everybody? Welcome once again to my F1 2016 career mode, and this time out we are in Azerbaijan, in Baku, for the European Grand Prix. As you can see, Ferrari got an improvement in their fuel consumption, so let's dive right into the weekend, shall we?
Welcome to the Baku City Circuit, where free practice for the European Grand Prix is about to get underway. This is a technical circuit which will nonetheless see some huge speeds, with a near flat-out final sector that's twice the length of the back straight in Shanghai. Let's see who can find the right balance in their setup today.
So we are now in our garage at the end of practice 1, and as you can see, I got perfect ratings and completed all my team objectives. And well, I'm really satisfied with our pace. As you can see, we got third from our qualifying simulation, but I did not record this because I was not expecting it to happen. But in practice 3, there was the ass of Gutierrez, I believe, and he had some kind of problem. It was acting like it was out of fuel, but it was not recognizing its AI, so it was not pitting, and everyone was getting stuck behind him, and all those cars that were getting stuck behind him were getting illegal blocking penalties. So what happened is that most of the grid got at least 5 places worth of penalties just because the ass of either Roman Grosjean or Gutierrez actually, well, the AI just freaked out. They were like for 3 straight laps before I simulated to the end of the session, because I was just doing laps to get more resource points. They were not pitting for some odd reason. So I unfortunately did not record my lap for qualifying 1, but crucially we got in 11th place, and our teammates actually went through to Q2 as well with this 15th place. Now this is my Q2 lap, as we are now in this very long straight. It is twice as big as the Shanghai in China, as the Chinese circuit back straight. It is near 1 kilometer long, and this one is like 2 kilometers, I think. And as we are now in turn 2, second gear. Now I'm just giving you a quick rundown on the track as we open DRS, go into 8th gear. This is another very long straight, as we are now a bunch of 90-degree corners. Look for the 150 marker board, brake into second gear, and set nice and easy with your throttle application so you can have a better exit out of this corner. Now followed by 2 more 90-degree corners, and this gives you a nice setup for another straight as you go into the, well, you can call it an hairpin if you want, as it adds into this very tight sequence of corners as you head to the old part of the city of Baku, as you went right by a castle, I believe, and now you just start climbing full throttle, going through 8th gear as you brake at around 150 meters away from the corner, and now you go downhill into the newest part of the city. And now right in this avenue, as you can see, it is now flat out from here all the way into the finish line. As if you have too much fuel, you will actually have to lift the throttle, but as this is qualifying, it is obviously not the case. Open DRS a couple of meters ago, and just crossed the line to post a 143.3, which actually got us P2 at the time, but crucially got us into Q3, which we got 10th place with a 143.4, which, well, it was almost 2 tenths slower than our previous lap, but I'm still very pleased with our efforts here, and maybe we can benefit something from all the penalties that the other cars got in practice 3. So in this qualifying session, we just demolished Fernando Alonso, who was struggling quite a bit with his Honda engine. I'm still overachieving. I still beat my teammate, which is all cool there.
Hi, guess who? I've seen the team's expectations for the race, so I thought I'd pass them on and wish you luck. Take care.
So for the race we have to finish 12th or higher and beat both Fernando Alonso and our teammate. So let's dive into the race.
Who would have imagined in those pioneering days of motor racing just how far and wide the love of speed and competition would spread? From Brands Hatch to Jerez to Valencia, the European Grand Prix has made its home all across the continent. And now a new era of this storied race brings us here, to the edge of the Caspian Sea. With 20 turns and a length of 3.7 miles, Baku City Circuit in the heart of the Azerbaijan capital is a real test of a driver's endurance, patience and precision. 90-degree corners through Sector 1 lead into a tightening uphill sprint as we start to circle around the old city. Then a 1.4-mile chase flat out through Sector 3 towards the finish line. Anthony Davidson joins me today as we look ahead to something just a little bit different. It's quite high speed for a street circuit here, isn't it? Do you think that's going to throw up any unexpected situations?
Well, as long as the teams can keep everything cool, I don't foresee any particular big issues from a technical side of things. I do expect the track to be quite slippery though. We've not exactly had much chance to rubber in the surface. Any street circuit also comes with its own challenges, so I think we'll be seeing a few mistakes here and there. The smart strategy would be to expect a safety car, I think, especially early on when the pack is bunched up.
Okay, watch out at the race start. There will be faster cars trying to get past. See if you can hold them off.
So before the off, let's remind ourselves of yesterday's qualifying session with a look at the starting grid. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and starting alongside is Nico Hülkenberg. Looking down the rest of the grid we have Manor, Alonso, Pascal Wehrlein, and Kvyat, Massa, Vettel, Raikkonen, and Marcus Ericsson, Gutierrez, Rosberg, Max Verstappen, and Ricciardo, Nasser, Grosjean, Kevin Magnussen, and Valtteri Bottas, Palmer and Sainz, Sergio Perez and Jenson Button completes the grid. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
So now in our race strategy menu, as you will be able to see, I will overfuel the car, I believe, so I can have a rich mix for as long as possible in all those straights. And I will actually go for a super soft strategy, so I can get the most use out of our super softs when we are the lightest further down in the race. So we might actually pick up some positions that we might have lost during that soft period, because obviously we are slower. So yeah, as you can see now, I just completed editing my strategy, and it is actually a super soft. So yeah, I think it is all pretty much set up for a pretty nice Grand Prix, as we are very I at least am very satisfied with my pace. And now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. Lights out, and away we go for the European Grand Prix, as we are actually getting off from P3, and we try to not do anything too crazy out of the first corner, as we have a squabble between Hülkenberg and Hamilton, which we might take advantage of, as Hülkenberg squeezes Hamilton to get the lead. But now I take advantage of the slipstream effect and pass both the Briton and the German to get myself in the lead of the Grand Prix, as I get attacked under braking by Hülkenberg, but me holding the inside line defended that position and got actually P1 for the rest of this lap at least. As we now have a replay of our teammate, who is starting from P5, right behind Alonso, who is starting on the softs. And as you can see, he got actually a pretty decent start, side by side with Alonso out of turn 1, as Alonso now will have the inside line for turn 2. But somehow Wehrlein manages to get the power down earlier and actually gets P4 from him, as we are now in the cockpit view of Kimi Raikkonen, as he gets a decent start, but slotting right behind of his teammate. but here comes Ericsson in the Sauber out of nowhere, actually getting the inside line into turn 2 and actually taking the position from the Finnish driver of the Ferrari. Still in lap 1, we are now heading through another pair of 90-degree corners, and as we are under attack from Hülkenberg, he actually gets side by side with us, holds the inside line and gets the position on us. Now at the end of lap 1, Verline with a massive slipstream effect now side by side with Hamilton actually, as he gets the inside line of me, and right here I thought about getting side by side with him, but I did not want to battle him, as we have a retirement of Felipe Massa, as we lose a little bit of our front wing, as we now get the replay of Felipe Massa, I believe, as we have a replay of the move our teammate made on us, a very opportunistic move using the slipstream to its full effect, and as you can see right there, the engine of Felipe Massa completely giving out of him, as he was holding 6th or 7th place, I'm not sure about that, but yeah, it was actually a really poor start for the Williams team, as we are now in lap 4 and we are battling for the last position in the podium with Lewis Hamilton, as he does us right around the outside. As we fast forward to lap 13, as there was not much action to talk about further, and I'm now going into the pit straight so I can get my set of softs, which will last to about lap 35, I believe. So yeah, I think it's either 35 or 45, I'm not sure yet, I do not remember quite well, but the important thing is that we get jumped by Raikkonen, as we obviously had a very slow pit stop. Now up in lap 17, some other drivers had already come into the pits, and we are now pressurizing Verstappen, I believe, who we got a word from Jeff that was having some trouble with his car and was not maximizing the potential of his engine. So we get a very easy pass on him using DRS and the slipstream, and as you can see, out of turn 1 we already have a sizable gap to him. And to add insult to injury, it is Hülkenberg, I believe, coming out of the pits ahead of the Red Bull, as we are now showing you guys the position of everyone on the track. Lewis Hamilton is the leader of the race, followed by our teammate Pascal Wehrlein, so they actually have a 1 pit stop advantage over the rest of the field, as Fernando Alonso, who is in 3rd, did not stop yet. We are still in P12 and making up the field, as we are trying to get some positions back after the pit stop. But now in lap 21 we are getting pressurized by Hülkenberg and Gutierrez, I believe. We managed to outbrake Hülkenberg, but we also outbrake ourselves, and Gutierrez comes from P13 up to P11. So very lucky for the Mexican there. Eventually the Mexican gets away from us, and we hit the inside wall there and lose the control of our car, and the time it took us to get back on the right position to continue the race, the safety car was deployed. So fortunately for us, we managed to have time to actually go into the pits, get a new front wing and a new pair of softs. I apologize, because I wanted to make this last. I reckoned that using this super softs here would not make me last into the end of the race, so instead of going for a last stint of the super softs, I thought about making a set of softs left into the end of the race. And right after coming out of the pits, I was 7th in place, as we are now in the 26th lap, and this is the point where the race will have its restart after the safety car period. And you can see by the replay, not every car is on that train there. So there are actually some cars that will start the race further back than this group that we have right here. As the race starts, we get a position on the Renault of Palmer, I believe, and then do a diving move on the Danish driver of the Renault and get the position from him as well. Now in lap 28 we dive on the inside of Ericsson, and as we now go into the outside of him to get P14, and we are now starting to make some places up the grid, as some cars that did not pit under the safety car are pitting now. So we are now in P11, and we do a diving move on Kvyat, who got a really poor run of that couple of corners as he was squabbling with some cars in front of him. As now we have Gutierrez and Hulkenberg battling in the main straight, and I actually thought about the diving move on Gutierrez, but as you saw, it was more prudent to get one position and wait for an opportunity to come around to get the other, as we have word that Kevin Magnussen is out of the race. So presumably it was an engine failure. Yeah, it confirms, as Palmer, his teammate, was right behind him, and just like Hamilton in Canada getting it brought out a safety car, but his teammate Palmer getting a face full of smoke, which could have been quite a disaster had he not managed to see his braking point into the corner. So we take the opportunity of the safety car to go into the pits actually, and switch to a set of super softs, because why not, right? If that safety car hadn't been deployed, we will try to go with the softs until the end of the race, but since we have the opportunity to get some fresh rubber, why not go for it, as we are now in lap 36, and as we go in the restart, we are once again behind Palmer, but we are actually faster than him and naturally outbrake Fernando Alonso. We bang wheels with him and do not manage to get the position right away, which he managed to in turn 4, I believe, or 5 rather, as we are still side by side with him heading into turn 6 and 7. So I have the inside of turn 7 and get the move done there, so up to P18. In lap 38, as you see the left side of your screens, Hamilton on the inside slams into Alonso, I believe, or that is Button, I'm not sure, as we were following our teammate's camera angle there. So as I arrive at the crime scene, I have to give the place back to Ericsson, but right after I overtook him and the game lets it slide for some reason. So yeah, this is actually kind of bad for us, because it spread out the fields a bit further than I was hoping for. So the slipstream effect will not be so effective, and we have Lewis Hamilton out of the race for a third straight race. And it is quite funny that it caused the pileup in the previous first sector, and now he tried to go into the pits and slammed into the side of Kimi Raikkonen, and his race was over from there. Now in lap 45, I believe, I actually managed to get 3 positions from P14 to P11, as we nearly outbrake ourselves into the wall there and try to squeeze Gutierrez. Gutierrez, who squeezes that Toro Rosso, I believe, rather that Sauber, who eats the Toro Rosso. So it could have been another safety car. Fortunately, all drivers managed to keep the cars under their control, which we cannot say about our exit of that corner. So we get overtaken by Alonso, as we actually do a little bit of fast forwarding just to get notified that Max Verstappen is out of the race. And it brought out the yellow flags, and I believe it will bring out the safety car as well. No, actually not, but we are now overtaking, coming right back on Alonso to get P9, as we actually overtook the stopped car of the retired car of the Max Verstappen, as we are now in lap 46 and are under pressure from Bottas, who gives us a slight touch on the wheels there, makes us do quite a drifting maneuver. Someone show this to the slap train if you want, but he actually gets the move done on the inside of turn 6, I believe. Now in lap 46, as we have a really cool shot from our helicopter, as you can see now the new parts of the city of Baku, right around the coastline of the Caspian Sea, as you can see in the right hand side there. And we are actually under pressure from that Toro Rosso. I believe it is Kvyat. As we head into turn 1, we are side by side with the Russian, who is on the soft tires, mind you, but actually gets a move around the outside and gets in front of us. As we are now under attack from Alonso on the hairpin, he actually comes out of that corner side by side with us, and as we arrive the very tight section there, Alonso actually loses one of his wheels into the barriers, and it's game over from him. And now we see Nazar, who was stuck there and therefore was disqualified, as well as Jolyon Palmer, which brought out the safety car so I could just repair my front wing and get a new set of fresh super softs, as there are some guys who did not pit for some reason. Maybe they are trying to take their softs until the end of the race, but that doesn't make no sense, since they wasted an opportunity to get some fresh rubber. But now under the restart we are faster than Carlos Sainz and get ahead of him, as Bottas is now squabbling with Grosjean and Jenson Button. I picked the left side, he picks the right side, as now I have to move back into the racing line. We actually get hit once again, under braking by Bottas, and nearly crash into some of the many walls in the circuit of Baku. Now we are heading into the last lap of the race, and we are getting very pressurized by Sainz, who fortunately does not have the power to overtake us, as Ericsson there nearly getting a point for Sauber, but in a drag race it was Sainz getting the 10th place, as we got a 9th place, which I am very happy with.
Great effort there from Ferrari to take the victory today. Anthony, what do you think made the difference here?
The difference was clearly in strategy. You could tell they'd done a lot of work on the pit wall to really optimise each stint and get the most out of the tyres. And it highlights just how much of a team sport this really is. And the credit to the driver as well, though. There's no good having a well-oiled machine behind the scenes without a talented hand on the wheel, of course.
Welcome then to the podium, our top 3 drivers. What a great effort from them today in a very difficult race.
So after that pretty chaotic starting grid, Pascal Wehrlein, our teammate, is the only one who managed to conserve his starting position, finishing in P5. He actually outpaced us in race trim, and yeah, it's always nice to see a Ferrari back on top again. But on our championship standings, it's basically the same, since both Hamilton and Max Verstappen retired, as we are now heading into our rivalry update. And as you saw, Alonso retired, but actually got the fastest first and second sectors. But I believe we are now leading the rivalry, as we got beat by Pascal Wehrlein, but are still in an overachieving position. And well, this rounds up our Baku European Grand Prix weekend. So if you liked this episode, please leave a like. If you want to see more of this career mode, subscribe for this and more series that you might enjoy as well. So see you guys in the next episode. Have a wonderful day.